Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video here at my desk. We are going to be talking through the Notion app. So I have used so many planners over the course of the, I think 5 years I've been homeschooling. I love planners. I think they're so fun. I love paper planners. Okay. But I really dislike going back through old planners because I often forget like what curriculum we used 4 years ago when my son was in kindergarten or things like that. I just kind of forget. And I want a place to be able to compile all that information without it having to be stacks upon stacks upon stacks of planners that go back the many years we homeschool, right? So I want that information all compiled in one place and I want it on my computer. In the past, I have used Microsoft OneNote. I even made a video about it. I'll link it above. The only reason I'm not continuing with Microsoft OneNote because they are discontinuing their desktop platform and moving all onto like an app, and I want it on my desktop because you'll see how I use Notion as to why I need it on my desktop. But anyway, so I am so jazzed to have finally organized myself over this summer, and I want to share it all with you guys today. I want to share how I set it all up so you can see if this might work for you as just a good kind of hub, a hub for organizing all of the homeschool records and materials. You'll see. So let's just hop into the video. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome back to the channel, all the things. So we are sitting at my desk at my computer, and I'm going to be screen sharing my computer with you so you can come with me as I take you through Notion. Now, I do want to preface the fact that I do not use Notion for my day-to-day planning at all. You can. I know people probably do. I don't. I have a paper planner, which I just highlighted, the one that I really love and use, which is the Sunlight Planner. And that's for kind of what lesson are we doing and things like that. It's kind of my just hands-on everyday plan. That's not what I use Notion for. I use Notion for more kind of big picture planning, for courses of study, for being able to write down curriculum, for even being able to like journal kind of what we've done or my thoughts about how my children are doing, to upload pictures, all the things. Those are the things I use Notion for, which I will show you now. I think I'm ready to screenshot and share with you all. So let me bring you to my computer. Okay, so I pulled up Notion and you can see it here. This is my main Notion page. I run Notion for other things. I organize my YouTube videos. I actually run all of my food, and it's a kind of a recipe hub for me, which I can share at a different point if you guys are interested in that, but I find it very useful. But really why I even got into Notion and tried to teach myself about Notion was because of homeschooling. So Notion is a free note-taking app that has a platform both on your desktop as well as your phone, so you can kind of use it in both places, which I really do like because I can take notes from my phone about various things. It is free unless you get to a point where you're uploading too many files, which I kind of got to that point because I want to include photos, but you don't have to if you want to just use it as a record keeping station. So to hop in, I have made, you can always choose covers and images and things like that to make it more fun. But really what I have done is I've set up my main hub, and these are my different years of homeschooling, this being this current year, the 2023-2024 school year, but I also do have a few pages on here of some things that are not associated with a year, if you will. So like I made one, my commonplace journal. So what I mean by that was sometimes I go and I'll listen to different conferences, like Sunlight had a great conference this summer. There has also been some things I've learned in the Brave Learner Home, which I've really enjoyed as well. So there's things that I can come in here and take notes and open the page up and take notes about different sessions of things in here. And it's just a place for me to grow as a homeschooler. And then I also have a narrative sketch here. This is a little bit more Brave Writer, but what this is helpful for is organizing kind of my thoughts. And so like, for instance, I'll click into August here. August, I wanted to kind of have a little motto of connection over curriculum. I wanted to keep that front and center as we started up our homeschool year. I also had some things where as I was starting to plan some language arts stuff, especially like bringing in some Brave Writer, I wanted to kind of work that out for myself. So I made myself a plan for how this could potentially work. So this is a place for me to record some ideas, even brainstorm, if you will. But then I do have down here for August some notes I'm taking for myself, like some together subjects. So history and science, my son, my oldest son, my daughter, and then my preschoolers, which I haven't filled in down here yet. But you can see I started to take notes of this first couple weeks because we're 2 weeks into our year. So for instance, I was taking some notes on our language arts. How did that go? I did actually just make a week in the life video that I posted up on my channel. So I'll link that above, where we go through Sunlight Language Arts with both of my big kids. Made some notes to myself about how Nicole the math lady is going and how my daughter versus my son. And then down below here, I also included one of my main goals for the year, which I made a goals video as well, so I can link that, but is to bring more fun and more creativity into our homeschool. And so I was making notes of how we were able to do that, like what we did on the first day, and also how I'm trying to do this like tea time, treat time. So I made some notes there. How is it going? How are my kids liking it? And then I included some pictures. And so some first day pictures. Here's all of them with all their book stacks and first day of kindergarten. And we were able to do some science experiments. And then I made a note of what the science experiments were. So this is just for me. This isn't anything that's required by my state by any means. It's just for me to be able to look back on what August 2023 looked like. It's like a keepsake, honestly. So this has been a really good idea. So I really like having this narrative sketch section in my Notion because it just helps me organize. And then I do have here a page called Big Picture Planning. I've shared my big picture planning, how I long-term homeschool plan in the past. I showed these documents where I kind of put all of the subjects down here on the left-hand column, and then the grades. And then for my son, he's in 4th grade right now. He's 9.5. It's 2023, and you can see what are the things that he is doing. And I think this is still current. Yes, this is pretty current. I might have added a few things, but it's pretty current. And the same for my daughter here in 3rd grade. And I do need to still work out my twins. I haven't committed the time to make my big chart for them, but it really helps me have a place for curriculum and just to see it kind of long term. This does not mean I have to do it this way. I talked about that in the video. It just helps me see it, and I appreciate that. So I can go back here in Notion. So this is just kind of larger plans that are not year specific. But then if I go into the year, so this is where it's pretty fun. So here's my dashboard for 2023, 2024. And this is where I work out all these things, and I really love it. So first, I wanted to kind of front and center. What's my why? I want to keep that in front so that I can always refer back to it. And then I had just a lot of random kind of toggle lists here that I was especially using this summer. Like for instance, my huge to-do list, which I took you through this summer when I made that video series of all the many things I was doing. So that I have here. I also have some yearly goals. I shared my goals more in that video. And then I also shared my standard operating procedures. So these are kind of my lists of things that I want to do on the monthly homeschool prep days as well as Sunday homeschool prep days, which I shared about that in my last Get It Done With Me video this summer. And then schedule, I haven't really put too much into this, or this isn't where my schedule was. I think this is where I was just making notes to myself. But this, my audiobook list, this is awesome. So since I'm doing so many different programs with Sunlight and most likely Brave Writer, I wanted to make a note of where the books were. Like, can I get them on Scribd? Can I get them on Libby? Can I get audiobook versions of them? And for the most part I can, which is fantastic. I also looked for HBLK and HBLC. So everything that both sets of my kids are doing. We just have a lot of books this year, and that was one of the things that I was a little hesitant on. But having a big audiobook list really does help me out. So I made a list of everything, which I feel really good about. And then I also have first day plans, and then I put in, like, this is where I start working on the budget. So this is the budget for this year. So I could share this at some point if you guys are interested, but it's helpful for me to have. And that's actually the first thing that I have. I set up my 2024-2025 homeschool year tab here in Notion because I wanted to start my budget to see kind of planning for next year, and that helps me know if I want to pick up stuff early or anything like that. So a variety of tabs here in Notion. This is really nice because it's a little bit of a brain dump section, but then I do have more of my plans that are more specific to each child. So you can see over here I kind of have my big list, but then here I have my kids, and I have them kind of order of birth here with my oldest. And this is why I wanted to switch to Notion, let's be honest. So for my oldest, his 4th grade goals, I put in here, which I shared a bit in that video, but I might not open that just to keep it a little bit private for him. But then I also have his 4th grade course of study, which I shared our curriculum videos, but that's basically what this is. So I have in here math. I have in here all the language arts, whether it's Logic of English, Sunlight, Brave Writer, our Danielian handwriting, typing, comprehension sheets, things like that. So this is where I get to put all of our course of study, which is really nice. And I just realized I actually probably should make a family subjects one of these so I don't forget what we did this year, the 2023-2024 school year, because you think you won't forget, but you forget. Let's be honest, 4 years from now, I might not remember exactly what I did with each child or exactly what we all did together. But the other thing I have here on my son is, which I haven't done quite yet because we just started, is to make a list of his non-school books. So he has a lot of readers that he's reading for Sunlight, but he has a lot of readers that he just wants to read, which I think I might make a video of his favorites here soon as like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old favorites, but I'll just make a list of that. And what's great is I can pull it also up on my phone. I can pull Notion up on my phone, and as he's reading stuff, I can just quickly add it to his list. Like I don't have to go to my computer. I don't have to go to my special planner. It's just on my phone, right? So that I won't miss as much. And then the last thing I have is just some curriculum checklists, which I like these. I had these in a different planner. I can't remember which one it was. The Simple Homeschool Planner, maybe, from Mardell, that had these that I really liked. So like, for instance, if I set up a toggle list of Saxon Math 5-4. And so once we get through lessons 1 through 10, I'll just make a mark on this. And then as we get through the year, I'll be able to visualize that, like, hey, maybe we're all the way to December and we've only gone through lesson 40. And I can see like, oh, maybe we need to move a little quicker or something like that. So it just is a helpful tool for me. And then they have investigations as well as tests in Saxon 5-4. And so I just have those and I can close them back, and I'll just close them back up to keep it simple. And then I have some of the Logic of English Essentials, which we actually are through the 1 through 5. And then B, and then as well as typing 2. So those are the ones I want to kind of keep track of. We have some other things, like I said, the reading comprehension sheets and also Sunlight, but I didn't need to put that in my checklist because we just do that by week and I have that all lined out and it's just a little simpler. These are the things I want to make sure we're on track come like a quarter of the way through the year or a half of the way through the year. So if we go back to my son, and then actually let's go back to, I'll just go all the way back out. Anyway, I'll go back to like my daughter is set up in a very similar way with her course of study here, as well as her checklists. And then my twins, I just have their work here, which is just their phonics, Abeka K5 phonics and math and thinking skills, which are the main things we do other than their Sunlight program. And so that's what I have for them. I clearly need to do a few more things in all of these tabs. I'm not quite there, but the backbone of my Notion is set up. So you can see in here the things that are very helpful for me. And then if I go back even further, you can see I have all the other years and I can click on them, and I haven't even put those in here yet, but I intend to backfill some of this information just so that I can really get a handle on what we've done. And it's mostly just for me because I forget. Did we do 5 in a row when my son was pre-K or K? I can't remember, and I don't have good notes as to like, why did 5 in a row not really work for us, and I really wish I had that. Like, I wish I had that information that I can pull back from. And I might have had some of that previously in some previous planners. Like I had made notes in a note section somewhere, but there's no way I can find. So I hope that was helpful to see in my Notion a bit, to see how I set it up, to see why it kind of acts like all of those planners stacked up together. But what I like is it's all digital. I can access it all, and it can be a place for me to kind of make notes to myself as well. And so it's not in various journals, it's not in various notebooks, it's just very contained, so I can kind of click between the various years. And you saw there at the end, I don't have all the years filled in. It is definitely a project I want to backfill. But as for right now, I have this year set up. I have next year started so that I can add to it as I need to start planning for next year. and I can continue to bring in the old information just so that I have a place for me to store everything. And I really wanted a place to store all the photos. There was other apps that I could choose, but I just wanted something that was all inclusive for our homeschool journey that I can just look back on fondly, that can be a bit of a like keepsake scrapbook for myself, if that makes sense. I don't know, do any of you do things like that? Do you have good systems in place? If you do, please let me know down below so others can kind of check those out if, say, like they're not that interested in setting up Notion, because Notion, like I said, for the most part, it's free. Unless you want to add a lot of pictures, then it's like $10 a month. And that works for me. I was perfectly happy with paying that because I'm using it in this way, and it's really organizing myself. So I'm trying to think if I had anything else I wanted to say. That's all I have. I mean, I just looked up. So there's my Notion on my phone, so I can obviously click into my son and add any read alouds or my daughter or whatever it is. And so, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was interesting. Let me know down below what you think, if you've ever considered a digital planner type situation. I don't know. I love paper planners, and go see my Sunlight Planner video if you're interested in why that's a perfect paper planner, day-to-day paper planner for us. But Notion really rounds out me being able to do all that big picture planning. So these two videos go very much together. And then the next video, one of the next videos I'm planning on making is a plan with me video. So you can see it all kind of come together in real time as I'm planning out our week. Because like I said, we've done 2 weeks so far. So we're getting into a rhythm and routine. So I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know down below how you're doing, how your summer's been. I would love to know how you plan, because I feel like everybody does it a little differently, and I'm fascinated by that. So if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, guys, take care. Bye.